Um, last week I talked about that guy that's always around me on site.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I It was cut day, and I started up my saw, and I looked around, nobody was there, and I started cutting, and I was cutting for a couple of minutes, dust all around me, had my mask on and stuff. Stop, look behind me. He's literally right there in my cloud of dust, getting smoked by dust. Just you should have seen his face just get pummeled with this dust. So I stopped and I literally had to take him and sit him down elsewhere. And I said,
You
Dave,
sat like you
oh yeah,
guided it.
I literally I
Like,
didn't touch him, but I took him and made sure that he sat down elsewhere. And I said, Dave, you don't have to be here all the time. And like you don't need to be supervising or anything, especially when I'm cutting. This is you don't have a dust mask. And he looked at me and he said, but Mike, I've got nothing else to do.
that you should have been, well, at least wear this and you give him
Yeah.
an extra mask or something. Like, I have nothing. Get a dog or something. Get
Yeah.
a hobby, anything. But
Oh, we have a review. Oh, we have two reviews to go over here. So thank you, everybody, for your 5-star reviews here. Let's see, slightly above average, 5 stars from from Pepper Stick Aficionado. Uh, and the title of the review is slightly above average, and the description of the review is slightly above average. So thank you for the 5-star reviews.
love it. We'll take it.
The next one is titled Three Beauties Better Than Therapists for Hardscapers. This is from Dreamweaver Stonescape. I appreciate you fellas and your honesty. Much needed information in the best format imaginable. Each episode flies by while I find myself cackling in my equipment or truck like a crazy person. Thanks for keeping it real and helping a lot of people, wives included, feel a lot less alone in the last wild, wild west. That was a nice review. Thank you.
That's a nice
Yeah,
review.
great. Thank you.
It is the last Wild West.
Yeah.
I saw on the Hardscaper podcast, Alex was talking about should they get certifications for landscapers, like, like Red Seal, whatever
Yeah.
certifications. Like, what do you guys think?
I don't think it's going to affect us at our age. Do you? Like,
I'm
if,
just, well, no, I'm just asking, what do you think? Is it something they should be developing? Like, what's your opinion on it?
I mean, it couldn't hurt,
I'm torn on
maybe.
it, to be honest. I don't know. I think yeah, like Chad, it couldn't hurt, but I didn't, I haven't gotten any certification. So yeah, it would keep out people that might do shoddy work, but it'll also keep out people that might actually do good work as well.
But do you guys think that there's no one on the planet doing shit electrical work? Like, has anyone watched Homes on Homes?
Right.
Shitty plumbing work, shitty electrical work, shitty structural work. There's all kinds of that, like
But
all that stuff that is certified that um
I don't think it would raise the perception of the industry from the outside.
I don't think it would necessarily. I think on a commercial level, like, you don't go to a condo build downtown and see shoddy electrical work where it's inspected all the time. So if you had that level of inspection on commercial work, which I think is achievable, you would say that there would probably be less shoddy commercial work. But in the home renovation industry, there's just as much shoddy, shitty electrical work as there is shoddy, shitty landscaping work. And there's just as many legit electrical guys as there is legit landscapers that are doing good work. Like, I don't know that it makes any big difference. I don't know that it would make a big difference in the residential market, because at the end of the day, the reason that people hire shitty home renovators that do shitty electrical work and shitty plumbing is because they were the cheapest.
Yeah.
so, like, you can figure out in high school that you want to go well, hey, I want to be an electrician or something, right? Never in the history of anybody's high school were you going to come out of that saying, yeah, I want to be a landscaper. So I'm going to go to landscape school. You can be an arborist or whatever. Maybe there's a course that touches on it for a day or two, but you're not going into trade school and getting a job and then going to school for 3 months and then going back out on site and shit like that. Like that wouldn't necessarily hurt, I don't think. I mean, the more you know, right? Might be okay.
I think Conestoga College has some sort of landscape construction.
Program?
Yeah.
Landscape construction, yeah.
I think so.
I know they do at Durham College, just some kind of landscape construction thing.
Yeah, there are some.
One of my workers, Scott, that wasn't the essence of the course though, right? It was like a horticultural course that touched on landscape construction.
Okay, so it's a course, but it's not a what is it, certification or anything like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's part of whatever landscape architecture degree that you get or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Unelectable.
And I mean, you don't necessarily need all that stuff, but it definitely wouldn't hurt. We got a little landscape course in Cornwall at St. Lawrence College here, right? It's like a 2 week or a month thing, but they run them through all their working at heights and safety shit and how to put in a patio and all this stuff. But it's like, how much can you learn in 2 weeks?
Would you ever teach there, Chad?
They asked me to teach there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No time. I don't have time to teach 20 kids how to landscape.
But you're doing it to better the industry.
Better the industry.
I
Create a professional standard.
I have a client who is incredibly wealthy. And he is a great guy. I have nothing bad to say about him. But we were installing the Roca steps. So the wet cast steps, they're finished on the top and the face and the sides.
They're finished on all four sides on the top.
But one side isn't as nice as the other sides, and it doesn't have quite the same texture or something like that. And we were building these steps, and he's like, "Huh, these sides don't quite look the same as the rest of it. That's just how they make them." He's like, "Don't you think you could better the industry by petitioning to make these sides more pronounced?" And I'm just like, I can understand where you're coming from, but what you value and what I value are two very different things, because I'm trying to make enough money to live a nice, quiet life, and money is an issue, right? I'm not out here doing this for charity and getting pet projects to where I can better the industry. I don't give a shit about bettering the industry. I want to better my own life. That's just me.
Does this podcast better the industry?
No.
According to the last review.
Yeah.
I don't think it betters the industry. I think it's an outlet for the industry. It's a hobby for the industry. It's
I like outlet.
I think we're enjoying a cult following. Never necessarily mainstream success, but
are we like the Rocky Horror Picture Show of the landscape industry?
Yeah.
But people do like throw bread at the screen or something, or throw chicken or whatever the fuck it
Pickled
is.
eggs.
Pickled eggs. That's our first live show. People throw pickled eggs at us.
Great.
Wasn't a commercial success, but it's an ongoing. So I think I'm old, so I'm probably a bit jaded to it. But I don't mind the idea of education at a college level. I think that's good to start like some kind of huge certification process. I think that the sorry, I don't. I'm texting with Jack about some wall in Kitchener. Mike, you want to build a grande wall in Kitchener? It's basically all machine work.
Is it higher than 3 feet?
I don't know.
Okay.
Why
a
your
grande-
machine can't lift higher than 3 feet?
I'll send my 8-ton out. You can use it to build the wall.
Okay.
It's grande wall. It's big block.
Yeah, I know grande.
Yeah. Why do you care if it's higher than 3 feet?
Oh, then you get into permits and stuff, so I don't.
It's a huge commercial job. You don't need
Huge
to worry
commercial job.
Well, I
Mike
don't know. It's
doesn't
not
have his working
commercial
at
job.
heights. You
I don't
can't
have my
go
working
over
at
3
heights
feet.
either. Yeah.
It's a commercial job.
You can't put on the top course.
Um, I don't know. I guess I'm just old. I don't love the idea of
More
I
red
just think
tape.
I don't love the idea of more red tape. I kind of like the Wild West approach.
Well, I think how do you change it now? You know, you got all these
At some
great
point,
landscapers and even non-great landscapers, but what are you going to tell them? Yeah, are you going to tell a 25-year veteran that now he has to be certified to put in
but they did
3
that at some
steps?
point. They did that at some point with plumbing.
Do you think there's an aptitude test that would prevent you from having to go through courses and all this shit?
I
There
don't
would
know.
have
I
to
guess
be,
my
guess.
argument would be like, I understand with plumbing and electrical, there's and structural stuff. But I would say that is that the same with guys who are people who are asphalt shingling roofs? Is there a certification process for them?
Is there? No way.
I don't think so.
Maybe they get it in jail. Maybe it's the course offered in jail.
Well, I'm trying to say what other, people are building decks that 100 people are standing on, and that's not a certified. I guess you could get
Absolutely, it is.
carpet. You think that all these guys out building decks have Red Seal carpentry tickets?
No, but I mean, in a commercial setting, it absolutely has to be, right? And
But we're already we're talking about. That's why I was already saying that in a commercial setting, I could see you enforcing landscape certifications.
yeah, okay.
But once you get outside a commercial setting, you think that every deck being built in Ontario is built by a Red Seal carpenter?
No, you're right.
I'm just looking at all these other trades saying, okay, you're going to make us start getting certified and stuff. Well, okay. We're going to get certified and stuff, but what about all these other people? What about the drainage guy?
What do you do with the drainage?
And are you going to certify yourself as a hardscaper, but then when you get a call for drainage, you need to go get a separate certificate as the drainage guy? And then you got to get a separate certificate as the pond guy and a separate certificate as should you need an electrical certification to install landscape lighting? Because that's where you're going.
Snowplow certification.
Snowplow certification.
Snow relocation expert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. There's so many. How many different things do you think that both of you guys will do this year in order to make a living?
As much as I need to. A lot.
Well, I'm saying how many different things? You're going to do some irrigation. You're going to do some sod. You're going to do some topsoil. You're going to do some pavers. You might dig a pool. You might build might build a large retaining wall. You might be involved in some fencing. You might build it. You might be involved in a deck. You might be in So if you take all that stuff and say, okay, I don't think it's inconceivable to say that in order for you to earn a living this year, you're going to perform 30 completely separate tasks.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be an excavator operator. You're going to screen soil. So if you are a certified electrician, how many tasks do you perform that aren't about running wire and hooking up electrical in a year? You perform one.
You sure
do
don't push a broom.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You don't even push, like, even if there's a big mess, you don't clean up after yourself. A laborer does it. You're there to pull wire and hook up wire. And that's what you do. You pull wire, you hook up wire, you hook up lights. Now, you could say you might hook up light switches one day and you might hook up hot lights the next, but all of it is electrical. You don't go from I'm digging post holes for this fence to I'm forming this concrete pour over here. I'm forming this shed pad. That doesn't happen to I'm sweeping the road.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think a certification's hard. It sounds good.
Yeah. I think maybe just more avenues for learning is a better approach than certification.
Yeah, I agree.
Because whenever I was coming up, all there was ICPI, and even that, if they weren't talking over your head, you already knew it. No, it was a 2-day course.
Well, you could watch Mike's videos on I Am a Hardscaper YouTube.
Yeah, no, you're right. But they didn't have that 15
Oh, no
years
one
ago
had, yeah.
when I was coming up, you know? It wasn't
They
a
certainly
thing.
didn't have it in 1987. I was lucky I had a radio.
I watched what the other guys did and got yelled at until I did it right.
I got yelled at too. Yelling was a great form of education.
Yeah. You can't do that anymore.
Like that guy learned today that you're not pushing my truck out with a bulldozer.
Yeah.
It was a hard lesson.
You guys ready for some questions now?
Bring on the questions, Mike.
All right, let's finish this.
Do we have time?
I can't find the question. It was from a while ago, but Stefan asked us if your business was a vehicle, what type of vehicle would it be? And I've had some time to think about this while you guys think. I would say my business would be a tuk-tuk. Tuk-tuk.
A what?
The vehicle with one wheel in the front.
Yeah. Tuk-tuk.
Tuk-tuk. Yeah.
Don't those things flip over all the time?
Yeah, it's reliant on one wheel. So my business, since it's reliant on just me.
Oh, one wheel total. Like a unicycle.
No, it's got one wheel in the front
3
and
wheels.
2 on the back.
Yeah.
3 wheels, yeah.
It's like those little motorcycles with an egg on the back that people ride in.
You never seen them, Chad?
I don't think I have.
Look up a tuk-tuk.
Yeah, tuk-tuk.
I think that's a great analogy for your
business. Do you know that means hammer in Filipino?
How do you know that? Hammer, tuk-tuk.
Tuk-tuk, because a buddy of mine's married to a Filipino woman, and he said their tool, I don't know, he said the sound that they make is what they're called.
Oh.
It's a rickshaw, is what you're telling me.
A rickshaw is like you have somebody running with it.
Yeah, tuk-tuk
Auto rickshaw is what shows up.
Yeah,
anyway,
it's like a 3-wheeled motorcycle.
Yeah.
My business is a early 2000s Hummer H2.
Why?
It was really good at one time, and it's kind of broken and old now. People still think it's worth a lot of money when it's not. So it still looks impressive, right?
Yeah.
Someone rolls up in an H2. It doesn't matter that motherfucker's 20 years old. You're like, wow, that guy's driving an H2 or that woman's driving an H2. They do not care about fuel consumption or anything practical. And H2 will just always have that kind of, that I think that's just a good way to describe it. Sort of
That is
outdated.
good.
I'm sort of outdated, sort of old, sort of broken, but I can still put on a good show if I need to.
It's a good one.
That
I
is a
like
good
it.
one.
Yeah. And
Chad?
when push came to shove, I could still put together a team that got the road done in 3 days.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There was people who might have doubted that would get done when they looked at me and my H2 body. Said that guy's a bit too old to pull that shit off. He hasn't pulled something like that off in like 6-7 years. So, anyways, I'm an H2 yellow one because that was the worst color.
That would have been my color choice.
Somebody in my high school had a yellow H2 Hummer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
One of the rich kids.
There you go. Was it like brand new at the time?
I think so. Yeah. It must have been. I don't know much about cars and vehicles, but it must have been.
Chad?
A 1999 F250 7.3 liter diesel.
It's a nice vehicle.
It's loud and dirty, but it always gets the job done.
Nice.
That's us. We're definitely loud and dirty,
But you
but
get the job
reliable,
done.
and we get the job done. That's
I
it.
like
We
it.
might leak all over your driveway, but we'll get the job done. Yeah, that's gotta be it.
F250. I like that. I drove a F350 as a plow truck for a long time. Like that, about that year.
Yeah.
Man, that thing hit hard. And it was stuck in 4-wheel drive the whole time I drove.
Love it.
Which
We
was
had
great
a-
when you were plowing snow, but not great if it dried out at the end of the night.
Yeah, we had a 2000 F7 or F550 7.3 diesel manual transmission. The thing was a fucking tank. That took us through probably the first 8 years of our business. Just a beauty of a truck. And we bought it from some pool company. I think I paid like 10 grand for it. Drove it home from like Belleville or something like that, north of Belleville. Just low as all hell. Like going down the 401 to get it home, I was like redlining at like 95 kilometers an hour. Just like, I'm like, how am I ever gonna run this thing all year? But it was incredible. I think we spent, I don't know, $300 on the truck in the 8 years we had it. Sold it to another landscape company who's still running it now. So
Nice.
yeah,
Those are indestructible vehicles.
yeah. I almost pulled the motor just to keep the motor because it was so great. But
That's a good motor.
yeah,
7.3s. Solid motor.
yeah.
Next question from Rock River Landscape. Logan, will PK ever post a reel or story without the Eminem song playing?
Oh, I like that song. Good song. It's talking about getting down to business.
It is.
I posted one today without it. It's a trailer for my YouTube video with a link.
teaser.
It's a teaser. It's a link teaser for my newest YouTube video that is titled "How many slingers do we need?"
How many slingers? Like soil slingers?
Somehow Jack and Ricky and I got in a debate about whether we needed 2 slingers or 1 slinger or no slingers, and I was recording it with my GoPro, so I posted it. That's called "How many slingers do you need?" There's a video of Ricky running under the slinger, like under the slinging of dirt like, in it. So maybe that'll garner some controversial topics, but it was at least soil, not like 3/4 clear bashing off his head. Rick's also not super tall. So I think that was part of it for him too. He's not a super tall guy. Yeah. Just because I'm all sponsored by the Canoe Museum, the opening seemed to go well. Everyone was happy.
Nice.
Good.
So yeah,
Chad, how's your YouTube channel going? I haven't seen a video of it.
It's good. I get 34 subscribers now or something like that. But I've been on a brief hiatus while I have no time right now. I've still been filming behind the scenes and everything, but I haven't put anything together. So
Sweet.
it's
I it's time consuming.
it's a grinding
Yeah.
to put out. I've put out a video almost every day except for one, I think, in the last 3 weeks. It's a grinding process to just
Yeah.
keep going and putting out. I started watching that guy Victory Concrete, Mike, that
Oh
you
yeah.
told us about. His videos are an hour long.
Yeah.
Every one of them is like an hour long. I'd love to know what his retention is for that hour.
Probably really good. It's got to be good enough that he got pushed by YouTube that quick to have 500,000 subscribers by now.
Yeah. Well, he's been doing it for at least 2 years.
Yeah, he started probably 3 years ago now.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
And he does have a lot of like topics, like one of them was, oh, there was racism on the crew.
Mm.
And then it's a 55-minute video.
Yeah.
So someone's gonna have to watch like a lot of video probably to find the racism on the crew, which may not even have been racism on the crew. I didn't watch the video, but I was trying because I'm trying. It says to look up what other people are doing in your niche and then find out what's successful. It's like, man, this guy is pumping out 55-minute videos. That's a lot of videoing.
Well, pouring concrete lends itself to a really good like story arc, right? Because you never know how a concrete pour is going to go. There's always going to be problems, and it's very time sensitive, right?
Problem on the job site.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's also satisfying too.
The video that I posted so far that did the best was the one that said I'm 5 yards short or something. Because I went to the supplier and bought 5 yards of HPB, and then we discovered that 5 yards was not enough. So I went back to buy another 5 yards.
So I'm actually transferring from being an education channel to more of that entertainment side of things, entertainment day in the life sort of thing. Mostly because I've exhausted all the topics that I could probably make videos on, but also, yeah, that's kind of the direction that I want to take.
You should get the guy who you're working for right now to film you. He could be like your human tripod.
He asked
can't
me,
do anything else. There you go.
I set up the GoPro and he asked me, "What's that?" That's his favorite line. What's that?
What's that?
So did you at least get him a dust mask?
No, I sat him way away from the dust, and I said, "It's probably best that you go inside for at least like half this day." So I just released the first video from that project today. He editing that video. He's in every single shot that I have.
Nice.
Every video that I've taken, his feet are in it, his legs are in it, or his whole body is in it. It's such a freaking pain.
That's great.
If you had to do this job over again, would you charge more?
No. He is a really nice guy. He's just
I'm not saying, not judging whether he's a nice person or just someone being there all the time. Whether they're the nice person, they're not being mean, they're just like, it's just someone being there all the time. Would you, if someone had said to you, that person's going to be there all the time, would you have said, I got to charge a bit more if you want to be out here all the time? Because it just does slow me down a bit.
Yeah, that's true. I had to pull off that job because I'm waiting on some more material for it, and I'm doing a.
The fuck did you buy that there's a material shortage of?
Villaggio Shale Gray. It's not. I don't know if it was a shortage or I don't know what's going on because you can't get them. You have to go all the way to Vaughan to get them. Yeah. You can't get them and
send him.
Yeah,
hop in the truck, go to Vaughan.
So on this new project, it almost feels like I should be looking up and there's somebody watching me. But this client's completely left me. It actually feels weird to be on a project where somebody's not just there constantly watching me.
Should put that Michael Jackson song in the back
Which one?
while it's somebody's watching me.
Oh,
What's the name of the
I
song?
always feel like
Is that a
somebody's
Michael
watching
Jackson
me.
song?
Yeah,
Yeah. Should put
that's
that in the
good.
back of your video.
No, I had to cut all the footage that because I don't want to have them in my video. So
Why
yeah.
not?
I think that's kind of an invasion of privacy, maybe.
He knows you're recording.
He knows I'm recording, but I'm sure he doesn't understand how wide a wide angle lens is and that he's actually in the shot every single time.
Maybe he
It's his
does.
own
Maybe he
fault.
wants. Maybe he
Maybe
wants.
he
to-
wants to be. I
Well,
don't know.
if he hired you, if he hired you, maybe his expectation was he could be in your videos because he watched all your videos,
Maybe.
and now you robbed him of his chance to be in the videos. Like that's a possibility. You
I don't think
so?
it is. I don't think so.
Do you think he watched your YouTube videos before he?
He has seen some of them because I sent them with my proposal. They didn't find me from YouTube though, but he watched them from the proposal that I sent him, and that was the main reason why they went with me. So, ready for the next question here?
Sign it up.
Yeah.
Tom Brown's life. Would you rather be paid upfront from a shit client or 60, 90, or 120 days from a dream client? So wait on the payment from a dream client or be paid upfront for all your work from a really crappy client.
I would rather get paid on the 60 days.
Yeah.
That's just I get paid on 60 days all the time, so I'm happy to wait to get paid for a really good client.
I agree.
That's my take on it.
60 days is nothing. I'm waiting on sod money from last fucking October and probably more. If I go back and to see what I'm waiting on, I've probably got 2 years old money somewhere.
2 years.
Oh yeah.
We're
still owed $250,000 right now. I don't know from where. I've forgotten who owes us much. 65 grand for Cornwall gravel, 61 grand for a.
Think of all the Chinese mini skid
$30,000.
steers you could buy with that.
Tomlinson owes us 100 grand. This is wrong. We are owed 100 grand more than that. Anyway, 60 days. I'll wait. I'll have the good client wait my 60 days.
We have money that's like 2 years old now, or will be soon.
Yeah.
I would rather, if someone's a good client and they're going to pay us on 60 days, I'm happy to do that work.
Yeah.
I think that's good. That'd be my opinion. I hate shitty people and shitty clients.
Mm-hmm.
People who disrespect my truck.
Shitty clients.
Irish Patab. I hope I got that right. Let's talk about downspouts and all the headaches they cause. In quotations, landscaper will fix it. End quotations.
Landscaper always has to fix it.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing that hates downspouts.
Polysand.
One time we had this, I don't know if it's even still around, but there was this sand called EnviroBond.
Oh yeah.
You guys remember that sand?
Yeah.
And I called up the supplier and said, like, what sand? I don't care. Just send me a skid of poly sand, whatever the cheapest one you have is. And they said, well, you can have this skid of EnviroBond. I said, okay, cool. Let's get that. But it had a few problems. And we put it near down. It was like, don't put it near a downspout. Don't put it near a tree. It was, don't put it near a pool. It was like a natural binder, not like a chemical binder. Did either of you guys ever use it?
No.
It was a weird. Anyways, it was near a downspout, and it was a severe slope driveway, and it just washed all over the street on the first row.
Oh,
The whole street was covered in fucking sand. Downspouts are a bitch. Because the other thing is, no one wants to pay you to deal with the problem.
Mhm.
If you got to if they want it in the ground, you got to bury it. You got to fucking in Toronto, you can't bury them. They have to exit above ground.
Can you have pop-ups? If you tell a client you're putting in a pop-up, it's like you just showed them a magic trick. They fucking love it. They think it's the greatest thing in the world.
So I just learned something because I've never put in a pop up.
Oh,
oh, really?
they absolutely love them.
I just dump river
I
rock.
keep 3 pop-ups in my truck just to drive around with. Because if you go to an estimate and they say, what can you do about the downspout? And you go to your truck and you pull out a pop-up, I don't know for sure, but I think you have about 20% higher closing rate just with that pop-up in your truck. Yeah.
I don't even know what it is.
You don't know what a pop-up is?
Dude, I'm old. I just dump river rock wherever the fucking thing exits.
I would prefer that, but
Here you go.
driving around with a truck or Riverstone would not work for me either.
That's the kind of thing that I just look at and be like, this is a job killer. I'm not going to talk about this. I'll deal with it at a later date. So I go, yeah, no, don't worry. I'll do something about that. They're like, oh, okay, cool, man. Great. I just try to pass it off as quickly as possible. Down.
Just when there's enough pressure in the pipe of water, it just pops up and it lets the water exit.
Pops up.
So for the record, I'm not an idiot. I figured that part of it out.
Okay.
When you describe something as a pop-up, I assumed it was popping and it was going up.
Yeah, exactly as it says.
I just want to see, I think I have seen these things before. I just never. How to install a lawn pop-up comes up right away on YouTube. Where, Mike, have you made a video about that?
I don't think I have.
Well, you have not dropped every educational video you can then. Thank you, Tom Brown's Life. Oh, so they're big round things, and then what happens to them in the winter? That would be my first check.
So you have to leave an air gap between the downspout and the PVC or whatever you put in, so that if it freezes, the water can still come out above grade, and it doesn't freeze all the way up the eaves trough to the roof.
So basically what you're saying is at the most vital time of year to get water away, that's when potentially the most water will gather right where the downspout is.
Yeah, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's winter in Canada. We have to deal with ice everywhere.
You really love these things. Like I have probably the most
Chad loves drainage.
Passionate about these things.
This is the most aggressive you've ever been.
Because I found they're an easy way to sell the whole job. Because other guys aren't coming in and saying, pop up there, pop up there, pop up there. They're like, oh, I don't know. I'll do something with it. I'll do something about it. I'll put some Riverstone.
You just described
Chad's picking on me. I don't like it. Chad's being mean. He's stuffing me in the locker right now.
Chad woke up on fire and he brought that fire to the podcast.
Yeah, I'm in a bad mood.
I think it was fair. That was a fair assessment. I think Chad's right. If I was a homeowner and Chad showed up with a pop-up and I showed up saying I'll do something about that with River Rock, I'll tell you right now, I better have the low price. Because otherwise I ain't getting the fucking job.
If you tell a client you're going to put 2 eaves troughs into the same pop-up,
whoa.
Whoa.
That's wild.
Now you're cooking with gas.
What do you mean? You don't need 2 pop-ups? No, I can send them both right to the front lawn. No problem. Wow.
Do pop-ups diffuse the water? Like it's diffusing?
A little bit. Like it'll come off in
Can you
round
put
circle.
can I put some river rock around the pop-up to diffuse the water?
You sure could. Here's the thing, if the pop-up doesn't have enough pressure to pop up, there's also a little hole in the bottom, right? So that water generally won't freeze in there. So below your pop-up, you put a tiny French drain of like a spoonful of clear gravel or something like that. So
That's a good idea.
yeah,
You should make a video, Mike.
I think Chad should make the video. Are you kidding me?
you make the video.
Chad can make the pop-up video.
Yeah.
Sick.
We should do a collab. You hop on the I Am a Hardscaper YouTube channel to explain the pop-up.
Yeah,
The landscape daddy explaining the pop-up.
yeah.
I'll come at the end and I'll undercut you all with my river rock and I'll fix it. Take the fucking job. Is there any more questions, Mike?
There are, but there's a few more.
Pick the best one.
Oh, there's only two more. New Leaf Ottawa asks, in quotations, is what it is, end quotations, what, in quotations, is breaks the camel's back for you? Is what it is, what is breaks the camel's back for you?
Is what it is.
Yes. Is
Does that
what it
break
is, what is breaks the camel's back for you? I think like it is what it is. Is that what breaks the camel's back for you?
It just is what it is. I don't think it breaks anything. I think it's just, it is what it is. Sometimes things are.
Breaks.
Yeah, sometimes things are, but well, yesterday, Cody called me and said, "Hey, there's some piece of the drive shaft off of it." Oh, that doesn't seem good. So does the truck still move? She goes, "Yeah, I was just turning the corner to put the bin down and then I heard it." So we text a bunch of pictures to Brad. I said, "Yeah, don't drive that home." So there's a hanger bearing that holds the drive shaft to the truck, and I guess it blew up. So while I was dealing with that, the phone started ringing, and it was Christy. I said, "Hey, how's it going?" She said, "I just blew a brake chamber." Sick. That'll happen in 5 minutes. And then I said, "It is what it is." But
What else do you do? It is.
It didn't break the camel's back. I kept going. I kept going. And then because the hanger brackets on the small bin truck, the oldest one, we were just standing there and looked at it and they were broken. So Brad took the tank off and then Paul re-welded the hangers, but Brad hasn't had time to get back to put the tank back on. So as I was leaving the yard yesterday, I was like, wow, we have 3 bin trucks and 2 of them are currently unusable. One has no drive shaft and one has no hydraulic tank. I was like, well, this is why we have 3.
Mm-hmm.
This moment right here is why we have 3 of these motherfuckers.
It's what it is.
It is what it is. So that's I don't totally understand what we were getting at, but you can't, is what it is, can't let it break the camel's back.
It is what it is.
Or you get more than one camel. So if one has a broken back, you still have another one.
You get 3 camels. One
a
drops
couple camels.
one drops a hoof. The other one you have to take the hump off. You got no lubrication. You still got the third camel still out there. Fucking. Oh. Anyways, that is, and again, we're back to, in my life, the 3 things that caused me the most aggravation. Actually, one of them wasn't, because it was the newer bin truck that dropped the hanger bearing off the drive shaft. So that's a whole new point of aggravation. But anyways, what's up next? What's the final question, man?
The final question adds value.
That's
It might take a bit. You want to get to it?
do we
It's
have
would
time?
be-
Specifically for Chad.
oh, fuck
no.
it. Ask it.
Timberwood Landscaping. How does Chad bid low bid commercial work?
The same way everyone else does, with the lowest bids.
That's
No,
the end of the podcast.
we've been over it before. You want to find a price that you think is going to work, and then figure out how you're going to make money doing it for that.
But how do you know low is too low, that you're not going to make any money on it?
You don't.
You don't. It's a gamble.
So then how do you figure out the price then? So for example, that $3 square foot guy that was doing the lift and relays in your city.
Lionscape? I'm just fucking.
Legit. He put out a video today saying this entrance was $6,000. Now, either he's lying or he's really inexpensive. I mean, I'm not saying he's lying. I don't just it does create a lot
Either
of
he's lying.
he's lying. Oh, so like he just put out a video. It's 400 square feet of techo block and a bunch of stepping stones with river rock and sod, and he charged 15,000. So even if you said that, you eliminated everything else other than the 400 square feet, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's a good price for that job. It's not what I would have done it for. Maybe I would have. I don't think so.
I don't know. My board's getting pretty full to do stuff for that price anymore.
It also, you just can't take anything from face value. And
Well, he's
that,
not
that could
saying-
go either way, right? That could be
But-
like maybe
so-
he's getting pushback of charging too less, so now he's just inflating the price of what he thinks is a fair price, or the vice versa. It could be
So in this thing, in this guy's defense, he's not saying that's what he charged. He's saying is this $15,000 patio project a fair price or not? He's not. Is he saying that that's what? I don't know if that's what he's saying he charged, but he's saying is it 15,000 or not?
Do you think he's baiting people though?
that's the other thing.
'Cause
I would
that's a
say
whole other.
potentially.
Or maybe he does cheap work. I don't know.
So like this one is $6,000 driveway extension plus stone curbs. So he's got stone up both sides of the driveway. He's got
Well,
Curb-
that's sure as shit not the most expensive square feet. Has $6,000
Oh.
for both sides of the driveway.
so I mean, I will say this, that posting stuff like that constantly about what he charges for the jobs definitely drives
Engagement.
and he's definitely growing his account rapidly from constantly posting what he's charging for jobs. And I would say that for our area where we are, his price is low. But I don't like where he works. Maybe that's I don't know. It just seems, but that drives a lot more engagement if people believe that your price is low. Then, and if that's what he's really charging too, I think that one of the things that attracts a lot of people to follow your account. I mean, obviously we all follow it. Mike's not banned anymore. Well, he was, and we met him. He's a nice guy. He's
Yeah.
a nice guy. Like he's a really nice guy. So, I mean, the one thing I will say is I think that one of the things that drives the most viewership and people to watch the most stuff is when
Price.
you're No, when you're putting out stuff that's awkward.
Uh,
If I put out the video, if I had the GoPro on my head today when I was screaming at those guys who backed my truck in, and I put that out as a video, that's the kind of video that would go viral. And there'd be people who are like, that guy can't talk to people like that. That guy's a jerk. And then there'd be a bunch of people on the other side saying, you know, they're not acting responsibly with his $250,000 truck. And that would drive crazy engagement because you're putting something out there that's awkward and not just, you know, so I think that's, you know, he's putting out something that's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to talk about. If you started posting every single job that you did, Chad, and the exact price you charged for it, your engagement would go way up. So would mine. So would Mike's. And whether it's because it was expensive or it wasn't expensive, engagement would go way up.
I've always had a problem with making content like that because I don't want to put out what my client's paying for.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've never, I did it once, but it was because it was a friend, and I asked them that I was going to make a video on it.
Like, I can understand why this Lionscape does it. To me, it's almost like Catch Me If You Can. No one can do shit as cheap as I can. You know, like, that's just, fuck me. I couldn't hit those numbers.
Well, but
you know, so it's easy to say how much you're doing something for if no one can touch your prices and you're comfortable with the crappy margins that you're making.
Well, you don't know what margins you're making.
Yeah.
Well, I can imagine.
You can imagine.
I can imagine that they're not very good, considering I'm doing similar type of projects for more money.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely when you put out stuff like that, that's, you know, that's why that Victory Concrete guy, like he's puts out stuff, guy quits in the middle of the job and he's got videos of him fighting with guys and then quitting in the middle of the job and videos of him getting lit with inspectors and like all that kind of stuff. Well, that's why people watch, because they want to see, people are watching, like that video he said, racism on the job site. Like people are watching because they want to see the racism on the job site. It's sensationalizing things.
It's getting people to click and then holding them till a point.
The easiest way to grow anything is to be hyper negative.
Absolutely.
It's if any of us spent every day ripping every single thing we say about every company that people deal with in hardscaping, like every manufacturer, every people would immediately start watching and your account would just grow and grow and grow. But there's an end to that. You can only do it for so long.
It depends. I have a video I posted a while ago that I actually got a couple of comments on in regards to the title, and I'm trying to find it. But the thumbnail was cost of starting a hardscaping business, and the thumbnail specifically says costs too much money. And a couple of people, and for the type of video it got a lot more views than it typically gets because that's got a negative connotation of cost too much. So that gets people to click on it. And a couple of people said it might be better that you change that. I can't remember why. I'm trying to look it up. But it was more so along the lines of it seems like you're trying to push people away from the industry. But the point was to get people to click and then to get people to understand what it costs to actually start a hardscaping business.
Yeah, but if you're giving a real cost and people are looking at that and going, I don't know if I want to be involved in that, that's good. That's being honest about, like, I don't see how you're being negative toward, like, if people know how much it really costs to start a hardscaping business, maybe they won't do it. And maybe you won't end up with a bunch of failed businesses and 3.5 ton dump trailers for sale. You know, if people have a real understanding of what it costs and what the commitment level is to it, maybe you'll have better work. Maybe you won't need fucking weird certifications. Like, I don't think that's good if people know how much it really costs.
That all
Yeah.
being said, it was just about the negative. Typically gets more clicks than.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It does. If you're super negative about things or exposing something that's, I think that one of the things that if people start following you, you're kind of trapping yourself into those numbers.
Yeah,
If you're
people
if you're
become
putting
expected to
if
get
you're putting out exact numbers for a 400 square foot patio, and then you go to a job and it's a 400 square foot patio, but the access is shittier, or it's farther away from your yard, or they pick a more expensive material, or there's a whole bunch of things that play into every hardscape number. If you're doing that, then potentially someone's gonna be like, well, last time it was 15,000.
So here's something to go off of that. And even though we're well behind our 2 hours, there's somebody that I've also had on the podcast, and he seems like a great guy, but he advertises something like $15-17 a square foot. He's in the States for a patio, but for a 20 by 20 patio. And then he gets people to call in. And then when he does a site visit, no patio is ever perfectly 20 by 20. So in reality, his quote isn't $15 a square foot. It's closer to $25 a square foot. And the justification being that your patio isn't exactly 20 by 20. It's an L shaped, or it's this, or access is different. What do you guys think about advertising $15 a square foot? And then ultimately, that's really not what you charge.
I wouldn't do that because I think I just don't want to fight through that sales barrier.
Yeah.
That's a great way to misrepresent yourself right out of the gate. I'd rather tell them nothing than tell them $15 a square foot. It's a hole to climb out of.
If someone asks me how much it costs, I say, I don't know. It factors on a million things. How close is your house to the supplier? And they're like, I don't know. I said, well, neither do I. I don't know where your fucking house is. So how can I give you a price? What pavers are you picking? Well, I don't know. I said, well, neither do I. So how can I give you a fucking price?
Well, I'm glad Nancy does this site consults.
Well, I haven't had a vastly successful residential business lately. So, all right. Are you good? That's the end of the questions. All right. End of the podcast.